Whoa, 4 minutes, only 7 minutes, okay. Okay, 4 minutes for politicians, it's too much. Okay, thank you very much for inviting me. 90 years ago, the world stood face to face with a racist, totalitarian and barbaric enemy. It was an enemy that oppressed and abused its own citizens, seized territories and nations, developed weapons of mass destruction, and possessed a systematic plan to conquer the entire world and impose its racist, murderous ideology upon it. This description should sound deeply familiar to anyone today, even to those entirely unacquainted with Nazi Germany of the 30s and 40s of the last century, because this is precisely the enemy we all face today, radical Islam. Radical Islam, whether it is the Shia version of the Iranian Ayatollahs or the Sunni version of the Muslim Brotherhood, is identical in its traits to the Nazi regime. It is racist in a cultural, religious sense. If you are not a Muslim exactly like them, you are doomed to death or to live as a slave, dhimma, what they call in Arabic. This directly mirrors Nazi racial theory, which likewise divided humanity into 3 categories. It is totalitarian in its ambitions, seeking to conquer the globe and force its dark, dictatorial version of Sharia law upon all of human society. And it is barbaric. It beheads, slaughters children, and brutally rapes women. I think I read a few weeks ago that 40,000 women are raped in Europe every year. We witnessed these monsters. Yes, on October 7, we saw it on the street of Iran in January 9 this year. They slaughtered their own citizens. Unlike the Nazis, by the way, it doesn't hide its actions. Yes, on the contrary, it takes pride in them. Sinwar's final handwritten order, handwritten command, yes, on the evening of October 7 was to act with utter cruelty towards everyone, including the elderly, including the children, and above all to film it and blast it out. Yes, he emphasized, yes, he wrote it to the terrorists of Hamas. He emphasized the importance of spreading these horrific images and videos, yes, not just to terrorize Israelis, but to motivate the surrounding Muslim brotherhoods by showing them these graphic scenes and rivers of blood. This is not a bug. Yes, it's a feature. Barbarism is an integral part of the culture of radical Islam. More than that, these regimes, these radical Islamic regimes, are identical to Nazi Germany not only in their mindset, vision, and ambitions, but also in their actual deeds. Yes, they massacre their own citizens. First, they massacres their own citizens. Iran only recently, as I mentioned, brutally murdered tens of thousands of its own people simply because they protested for freedom and liberty, and they continue to do so today. El-Julani, the terror arm of the radical Islamist Erdogan, yes, did the same with no less cruelty and continues to do this today, by the way, till this day, to slaughter Christians, Alawim, Druze, and Kurds, yes, in Syria. Hamas did the exact same thing in Gaza, broadcasting his crimes, yes, it commits against the residents of Gaza across social media. Second, they take over other countries. Iran has seized control of Lebanon, Iraq, northern Yemen. Yes, it is attempting to do the same in Africa. They have huge projects of investment in order to, from Mauritania to Sudan, under their control, their influence. Erdogan, this extreme Islamist dictator, Erdogan, who initially seized northern Syria. I'm not sure you know. In 2018, the northern side of Syria, which is part of Turkey since then. And afterwards, he did the same thing with the terrorist al-Jurani, actually to take control, the whole state, the whole country. Same thing in Libya. And he maintains an organized plan to control the entire Middle East. This is exactly like the Nazi regimes, Anschluss with Austria. This is the same thing they did in the Sudet Mountains with Czechoslovakia before the war. So, as people say in America, if it thinks like a Nazi, aspires like a Nazi, and acts like a Nazi, so it is a Nazi. But the problem is that is exactly what they are not saying in America today. I think at least almost no one is saying it. What are they saying instead? What we hear today. Include our friends, include the administration. Yes, we hear the exact same things said during those 2 years of American neutrality leading up to 1941. America first. This is not our war. This is Israel war. This is a Jewish war. Yes, just that was part of the Democratic, by the way, platform in the, I think, 1940 elections in the U.S., and exactly like the European leaders say today, exactly like the Americans said then till Pearl Harbor. And I want to say today to the administration leaders in Washington, to the Vice President, J.D. Vance, who is meeting now, yes, at these very hours with a smile on his face, on all the other faces, yes, there, with the enemy, yes, he sits with the enemy. Not in München, this time, in Switzerland, to be precise, in the Qatari Switzerland, if you know what I mean. And I want to tell you, Vice President Vance, you know, it happens that a mistake is made once, even severe mistakes. But repeating the same mistake twice turns the mistake into a crime. And that's exactly what the Western world is doing right now, where it's not for the political and military leadership, without the political and military leadership of Churchill, Hitler would today rule at least all of Europe and perhaps across the Atlantic also. The enemy is the same enemy, ladies and gentlemen. The enemy is the same enemy, and the mistake is the same mistake. You fail to recognize the enemy. You analyze them using Marxist frameworks as if all that interests them is money and social status, whilst we all standing before a religious ideology that views your destruction as a commandment and a religious duty. The enemy is not the drone, is not the missile, is even not the nuclear weapon. Yes, the enemy is the murderous ideology that commands a regime, that takes over a regime. As long as it rules, it will develop the tools to realize its religious ambitions, to destroy what they call the little Satan, which is Israel, and the great Satan, America, and the entire Western world. You're not fighting for Israel. Mr. Vice President, you are not fighting for Israel. Israel is fighting for you. Our soldiers are fighting today in Lebanon and Gaza for Washington and Florida, for London and Paris. And the truth is also for Mecca and Medina. Israel is on the front line of a global campaign. If it's not stopped here in the Middle East, it will move to Europe, which is already, by the way, under dangerous internal war. and it will reach the United States. You can already feel the first sign on the streets of Manhattan. The warning shot was fired on 9/11, and the threat has only grown since. Throughout history, I will end with this, throughout history, the Jewish people have always been the seismograph. Yes, the seismograph for the entire world. We, the Jewish people, we were the first to identify the danger, the first to fight, and the first to take the hit and absorb the blow, but the entire earth shook. The danger was a global danger, as the German chancellor said recently. Israel is doing the dirty work for all of us, or in the words of our own tradition, tikkun olam. Israel is fighting for the repair of the world, for justice, for morality, for the world peace. You can join us, you must join us, but whether you do or not, we will fight with all our spirit and all our strength until the total victory. And though it may tarry, it will surely come. Thank you very much.